All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate. I'm very excited to show off what we're been working on in the past months. So really excited to show the public beta to everyone and trying to show off a bit and talk more about the Fuji protocol and what are the plans for the future. So I think the plan will be I will go through a little demo of the public beta. And after that, I will be more than glad to listening and answering all the questions that may arise. So first of all, what's Fuji? Okay, so Fuji is a non-custodial borrowing protocol that allows everybody to draw loans against Bitcoin, and this allows you to issue to mint Fuji USD, which is an over-collateralized stablecoin pegged to the US dollar, and it uses a combination of Bitcoin script covenants on the Liquid network and some Oracle sign price attestation to create a decentralized stablecoin, and potentially in the future also other synthetic asset like, for example, synthetic stocks or synthetic bonds. So I'm going to share my screen so we can see live. All right, I think you should be able to see. Let me see if it's correct. Okay, so the idea will be basically that everybody can, let me maybe just do a step initial introduction. So Fuji Money on GitHub has plenty of repository already. I think the main important one, which we just open sourced recently, is basically a collection of some specific some specification for the protocol, and everybody can contribute. Everybody can read. Can start from the first FIP, which is describe a little bit the protocol, and for everybody that maybe already read the white paper, definitely there have been a lot of iteration on the design. So definitely this is the best place to be up to date for the plan for the protocol. So yeah, I mean, everybody can try to propose some implementation possibilities, and this is the repo. We have all the contracts that we are going to use, which is divided between the alpha stage, which will be the initial one on the 15th of May, when we release the initial the Genesis issuance of the Fuji USD. And then there will be what we are working on, which will be the next iteration, which is the actual beta, which will be a bit more advanced, a bit more complex. And you can find all the covenants. Of course, this is very low level, very advanced. This is the barrier of entry of writing Bitcoin script is not that easy, but definitely everything that will be basically part of the contract of every UI or every products will basically use this Bitcoin script, taproot scripts that are hosted in this repository. And yes, you have a bunch of other things. The one we released today, which is this app, which is a simple web app that connects to a Liquid wallet, in this case, Marina wallet, which is a browser extension. But in the future, we plan to integrate with all other, Liquid wallet and the broader Bitcoin wallet ecosystem. We also have a demo Oracle, right? That other price feed, like for example, it can be an exchange from Bitfinex, Binance, or Kraken. They can take it up, look it up, and use as a reference for their own Oracle. And yeah, we have the paper. We have some SDK for Node.js, and more libraries and more developer tooling will be published and will be hosted here. So yeah, now back to the fun part. So let's see this app. So the idea is basically I download my Marina here, which I am already in testnet, right? I'm doing a testnet demo. I have a bunch of assets already, some liquid Bitcoin, some Fuji USD already, and some Tether USD, whatever. And logging in my dashboard, so what you can see, I can see my balance of Fuji USD currently. I can see my contracts, my safes, and you can see I have an open contract already. And this is the covenant which is hosting the Bitcoin. And also you can see how much has been borrowed using my Bitcoin. So if I go to the Explorer, as you can see here, this is the funding transaction, and this amount, the zero, maybe I can zoom it out a bit. This figure is basically my collateral, which at all the time need to be above the 200% liquidation collateralization. Otherwise, there will happen a liquidation. And you can also see the liquidation price here, so you remember. And not yet, but you will be able to top up or top down your collateral easily for the contract in case like the price of Bitcoin is going down. Or you can always at all the time close it. And close it means I need to repay back these 300 Fuji USD, which I need to burn this 300 Fuji USD, so I can close it and I can get back my my Bitcoin that are stored in this taproot output. And also, yeah, you have some generic, activity history. You can see, all the contracts that have been redeemed, that have been created, top up, liquidated, and so on. So this is the basic UX, the basic UI. We're going to release multiple products later. Like, for example, in one click, you can borrow Fuji USD and buy more Bitcoin and withdraw the Bitcoin from Liquid to your, Bitcoin wallet if you're using Lightning, for example. Or you can also trade on, decentralized exchange like TDEX, for example. So, okay, let's try to mint some Fuji USD, right? So let's try to open a new contract here. So I'm going here, I'm minting. I can see the multiple type of assets, and this one requires a collateralization of 150%. So I click on mint, and we are in the form, which is basically just asking how much we want to build, we want to mint. So let's say $100, okay, 100 Fuji USD. And here is very important, right? So let's say I want to decrease my risk of liquidation. So more I go on the right, more the collateral ratio will increase, and this will make, will decrease my risk of liquidation, but also means, the collateral amount that I need to lock is much higher. So I think that this depends on the user preference and on the current market condition. So let's say that we can, we can say 200% collateral ratio, just to make a whole number. I can review it, so there is the collateral amount here, and also I can select the Oracle provider that we allow in the covenant to be picked. In the current beta, in the testnet, ourselves we are the Oracle, but this is not like what we should be, because you should definitely use like some professional, price feed or some reputable exchange to be the Oracle data point. So, okay, we selected. Let's go to proceed to deposit. As you can see, we can decide to use either Liquid or Lightning. Lightning, how it works, basically we use summary swap providers to do a zero-conf in-browser summary swap. So this will be very fast, and you can use Lightning directly from your Bitcoin Lightning wallet to directly deposit in the Covenant. And of course, you need Marina then to receive the Fuji USD, but you can directly use Lightning to fund your Covenant. Just for sake of simplicity, now we are going to use Liquid, since I have my Liquid BTC balance here, which is enough. I can see here some, some detail. Just I can review it. I can select Marina. Marina is basically, creating the transaction, and then it will pop up and say, hey, do you want to make a signature? So I will accept it. So this browser doesn't have any private keys. So your private keys are in Marina, and nobody can access it. So this is totally open source. I can run it on my computer, and you don't need to use the one we are now self-hosting. Anyway, the minting has been successful. So let's go look in our Explorer. the transaction is not confirmed yet. But as we can see here, I basically create, this is the funding transaction, and the funding transaction is basically built by two inputs. One most likely is my liquid Bitcoin inputs. It's confidential, so we don't know my UTXO sides. And then most likely there is the reissuance token, which is provided by Fuji at the moment. And you can see as a first output, you have your covenant. And this covenant is what is locking BTC, and the condition of getting out are either you redeem burning the Fuji USD that you are being issued here, this 100 Fuji USD, or if the collateral ratio will go down, you will be liquidated, and the liquidator can take out your LBTC. So we can go back to the dashboard. And yeah, I see here my Fuji USD 100 Fuji USD contract, which is open, and I can close it if I want, for example. So I think the next step will be, let's see. Okay, I'm done with my Fuji USD that has been received here in my my wallet. So I can send it to everybody. I can go trade. I can trade it for Tether. I can trade it for other assets on the Liquid network. They are literally like a bigger asset. Let's say I'm done and I want to get back my Bitcoin. There is no need of any cooperation, not even any signature from anybody. You just need me to burn this 100 Fuji USD to get back my Bitcoin. So I'm going here. I'm clicking on close. I'm deciding to receive LBTC on Liquid. I'm signing. Okay, 1 second. I think this is a Marina issue. Let me reload my state. Let's retry again. All right, so we redeemed. We can go look in the transaction explorer. So let's give a couple of seconds. Sometimes the Blockstream Explorer and testnet is not that reactive. Let's wait. At some point it will pop up. Let's go look on testnet. I know that we are on the Blockstream community, but Blockstream overlords will forgive me, but I need to go to the mempool explorer to double check. Yes, we are on testnet. Yes, on mempool is visible. So as you can see here, as I input, we are spending the LBTC from the Covenant, and I'm also spending the 100 Fuji USD that I borrow originally. What I'm doing here is like I'm burning them in our operator, and the Covenant is like ensuring that this 100 Fuji USD are burned, and this way, then you can get back your your liquid Bitcoin collateral out from the Covenant. And this is how you close, and there is no cooperation of anybody in what you call usually non-interactive redemption. I think that's all. So I will get back to my stop the screen sharing, and looking forward to hear if there are any questions. Would love to hear more. Sorry, I was muted. I was reading the first question from Claudio. There is only option to borrow. What about land? So the idea is basically that when we say borrowing, you're actually using the contract to mint these assets. Yeah, I think it's more like user friendly to say borrow, because what you're doing is like locking collateral in the Covenant, and the Fuji USD are not lent by someone, but is literally issued by the protocol based on the collateral that you are locking in the covenant. And every time you want to, to get back your collateral, you are basically burning that Fuji USD. So you're not repaying the loan to anybody, you're just burning. So the protocol at wall, if you look it up, all the sum of all the contracts will basically have much more Bitcoin than the amount of Fuji USD being issued by the protocol. So I hope this answered the question. So the other question is like, does funding the aligning work in the public beta? If so, can you show how it looks? Yes, we can definitely look it up, but let me see if there are other questions first. Can you briefly talk about synthetic asset on Fuji and what's the roadmap for that? Yeah, as I said, this is basically Fuji USD. This is the first asset we are going to, to issue at the beginning, and you can look it up as a synthetic dollar, kind of. And the idea is that in the last year, last 6 months, when we basically had a private beta with our, private beta tester, I think what we got as an initial interest is like that there is a lot of interest about a synthetic dollar and much less about synthetic stocks in general. But I think that our infrastructure and our protocol applies to anything an oracle can make an attestation for. So I think that the main bottleneck for that is like having, reputable oracle making attestation for stocks or, securities price. So, Bitfinex, Binance, or Kraken, or Blockstream data, for example. So that a lot depends on what oracle the oracle can make attestation for. And also, I think that it's also about, in general, what is interesting, because it's important to have liquidity for these assets. So if it's an asset which is not traded that much, maybe it doesn't make sense to allow to borrow. I hope this answer the question about synthetic assets. Okay, another question is like, what exchanges will be accepting Fuji USD? I think that's basically open to everyone, every exchange, every trading venue. We, of course, the easiest path for us is like, for us, or in general, anybody that will be able to borrow and provide liquidity. I think the best way will be use, decentralized exchange available on Liquid, like for example TDEX. So everybody can spin up a server and be a market maker for these assets. So I think that will be the easiest, and I think the initial place where you can, trade your Fuji USD for, other stablecoin, maybe like Ether on Liquid, or maybe Liquid Bitcoin itself if you want to go long on your collateral. So I think decentralized exchange will be the first. Regarding centralized exchange, that's also depend maybe first if they support Liquid. So of course I'm looking definitely at Bitfinex, which is I think the only one in the top 10 supporting Liquid. And minor exchange we are talking with, and we are definitely more than happy to help them. But in the end, if they already support Liquid, for them it's super easy to add Fuji as asset, because every asset in Liquid is literally the same as the other. So a lot of these questions should be asked to the current exchange that support Liquid. So if they are interested, and so more people will ask them, definitely they will be more interested in listing and provide liquidity to it. So yeah. And or is strictly peer-to-peer? Again, I think there will be both in the end. So there will be centralized exchange, more professional market makers, but also anybody. That's the beauty, I think, of Liquid. You can do very efficient, and you have incredible infrastructure for doing, non-custodial exchange. And I think that in the end, it's all about liquidity. So the venue that will have more liquidity will definitely have much more success. All right. Thank you to you guys for the question. Really appreciate. I think we can try to look it up about lining. Let's see. I think testnet lining in general is a flaky, and especially in testnet. So let's see. Let's hope it works. So let me share again the screen. Okay, maybe there is a last question before I go back to demo. Can you expand more on synthetic assets? Does this mean I can receive BMN, for example? So yeah, the idea will be, for example, with the current, Fuji infrastructure, we can literally, create any type of synthetic asset, and assuming it will be an oracle for BMN, which as of far I know doesn't exist yet. So assume there will be an oracle for BMN, and that will be super easy to create a Fuji BMN version of it, which basically closely tracks the price. Of course, it will never be very close to it, but will track very, very closely. And everybody will be able to send or receive it, since it's a bearer asset. It's not again, it's not a security. It's just a synthetic representation of an asset which happens to be a security. So anybody can send, receive it. I think that the main issue is, like, again, Oracle first, and also I think that there should be some trading activity on BMN, which I think now is not like that much volume happening anyway. So I think, yeah, as soon there will be securities or liquid asset that are traded and Oracle supports, definitely there could be Fuji assets version of them. I hope this answered the question. Okay, let me try to borrow with Lightning. So there is a website called htlc.me, which is basically a custodial Lightning wallet in your browser for testnet, right? So I have TBTC, so testnet BTC. I have some dollar here. So what I can do, going here, since Lightning support very small payments, I think that we should be able to maybe borrow, let's say, $10 or at 200% liquidation collateralization is the amount of BTC. Okay, let's proceed to deposit. Lightning, there are a bunch of other wallets. Let's get a simple Bolt 11 Lightning invoice. So I get my Lightning invoice here. I can copy. If I had my mobile phone, I could scan it. So let's see, because this website is very flaky in general, and testnet on Lightning and testnet are not a friend together. Yeah, I think that it taking some time. Okay, he got the payment. So the payment arrived, the browser detected, and basically it spent zeroconf, the summary swap, directly into the Fuji borrowing transaction. So the experience is literally like going from Lightning with a simple Lightning payment. You literally like borrow against your Bitcoin on your Lightning wallet at the Lightning speed. And yeah, as long as there will be liquidity between you, there will be a channel between you with the summary swap provider, which at the moment is Bolts, the Bolts exchange. But Blockstream also has an open source summary swap protocol called PeerSwap. So PeerSwap supports Liquid, and when PeerSwap will be live, I guess everybody could be able to to support submarine swaps between Lightning and Liquid, which definitely increase the user experience of using Liquid in general. So, all right, we borrowed this 10 Fuji USD with Lightning. Let me go back to my screen. I hope this answered the question. I demoed the Lightning, it worked. I'm happy. Okay, let me see. Is Fuji the only one that can add these synthetic assets? I don't think the question is super clear to me. Or can a community member entity bring their own synthetic asset to be issued? Oh yeah, I mean, like, Fuji USD is open source, is an open source protocol. Everybody can take it, fork it, call it, I don't know, Marco assets, and and have their own version of synthetic assets. I think there are a lot of complexities, but like, that would be very, very great for the protocol itself, because it means there is product market fit for the protocol. And yeah, we'd love to have other fork of it's not even a fork, you just deploy a different liquid asset and you name it in your own way. So will Marina eventually integrate Lightning? Oh yeah, we have an open pull request. We have an open pull request on Marina itself. So you basically, Marina will likely become a layer 2 only wallet once we have Lightning there. But of course, you know, I think that either you do it from front ends like Fuji directly in the apps, or you can do in your Liquid wallet. That's definitely doable. I mean, the main roadblock there is liquidity as always, and definitely think that a project like PeerSwap will allow to everybody to provide liquidity. And when you do that, the competition increase, and the fees go lower, and definitely there are infrastructure piece missing to have a full interoperability, but the path is clear, and super happy to see how Lightning and Liquid can work more together. Sure. Yeah, I think that my last, I really, really appreciate everybody, that took the time to join, and everybody who asked question. Really, really um, appreciate. Oh, wait a second. There is a last question. Marina is friendly with Jade. No, unfortunately, no. I think the main issue is like, to use covenants, we need Taproot support from wallets. And as far as I know, in the Liquid ecosystem, the only wallet supporting Taproot is Marina. And to be able to use Jade, what's their main roadblock is for them, for Blockstream to make sure they can sign Taproot, Taproot transaction. So as soon there will be Taproot support, I think that we can definitely either integrate on Marina directly, or you can directly use the Fuji front end to use your Jade wallet for sure. Taproot coming to Jade soon. TM, yes, is 1 year, right? So yeah, definitely soon. No, enjoy. All right. Thank you to everybody. Really appreciate. And we have a website called I'm living here called feedback.fuji.money, and I would really appreciate if you can try the beta as much as you can before the launch, get used to it, and if you want to, give feedback or upvote current request, that will be definitely help us and help us to shape our roadmap, and do a better product for you all. Thank you.